Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the June 29th council meeting. We'll start with an invocation from Pastor John Lundeen of the Hope Lutheran Church, and then Dave Hammond will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Shall we bow our heads for a moment? Heavenly Father, we come together this evening, and as we do this, it is with deep awareness of so much turmoil in our world, warfare and murders, angers and fear, and it seems like an abundance of those whose only concern is themselves. It seems like there's death, destruction, dissension everywhere we look. In the middle of all that, what might be wrong in the world? Let all those who are called to be leaders not be blind to all that is right. This evening I give you thanks. In the middle of all that which might be wrong, you give us glimpses to remind us you are still God and we are still your beloved people who have been called to shed light into darkness, hope to the hopeless, and love to those who do not know what it is like to be loved. Give these leaders the capacity to translate vision into reality. Give them the gifts to inspire and motivate rather than intimidate and manipulate. And dear Lord, give them the wisdom to not spend $1's worth of time on a 10-cent decision. But most of all, give them great enthusiasm to achieve that which is great. Bless now this time and those who are called to serve as leaders. May your presence bring wisdom, your promises give courage. And I pray this in your holy name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilmember Joe Cronin.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Elam. Councilmember Dave Hammond.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Brassel.
Here.
Councilmember Terry Hollander.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Klinghammer.
Here.
Councilmember John White.
Here.
Okay, moving on to public comments. We allow 3 minutes per speaker, 3 speakers per topic, pro and con. Could we have our first speaker, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Council, A.C. Dienoff, resident and public advocate. You know, for the last 2 meetings, I've been asking this County Council and this County administration, including the County Councilor, to hire a special prosecutor in the situation of our current prosecutor that has a clear conflict of interest. The state statute is very clear. I'm still waiting for the county to do something, make some type of movement on the allegations of inappropriate and violations of state statute 610 and 178 involving 4 trustees of the sitting at that time, 5 trustees of the St. Charles Community College District. And just by way of record, one of the trustees is the spouse of the county executive, which brings another conflict of interest. So I'm not going to let up on this. I feel very strongly in ethics, transparency, and openness of our government, and the way that that trustee was selected for that vacancy of somebody who passed away just 4 days of being buried was haphazard, reckless, and a slap in our face to the community and to the people that we serve. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the southbound turn lane on westbound Missouri Highway N onto Summers Road. That is a clogged intersection. We have this green light greenway program that we spent to the tune of over $7 million. Been trying to work with staff, work with MoDOT, and work to try to come up with some solutions. The stacking of the buses, the stacking of the cars during the school hours of the newly constructed elementary school, middle school, and high school on Summers Road has created a traffic jam and a hazardous type situation where it backs up onto the Highway N. We need to get this straightened out this summer so public safety and the students traveling to school is ensured. Highway N expansion is very much needed and should be our #1 top priority of our county. It should have been constructed yesterday, the 4 lanes, including a turn lane, from Summers Road to Highway Z. The county is committed to pay MoDOT for the traffic study and all related work to the tune of $2 million coming from the road board funds of the half-cent sales tax. I would like to work with staff to broker a much-needed deal. I've talked to officials of MoDOT, and they keep balking and trying to stop this project from moving forward when the county has agreed to pay for this most important project. The population in this corridor is exploding. The impact is a need yesterday, not today, but yesterday. The housing is exploding. A lot of permits have been given by the city of O'Fallon, the city of Wentzville, and the city of Lake St. Louis. There are schools that have sprung up because of the families that are coming in. We right now have 3 to 5 families moving a week to this residential housing area. That's putting an additional 6 to 8 cars additionally on our overcapacity roadway. It all has to do with economy, and we'll reap new benefits and new sales tax. I'd like to mount a much-needed pressure to get MoDOT to do the right thing for public safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any public comments? Okay, seeing none, that closes public comments. Moving on to the county executive's report.
Mr. Chairman, I have no report this evening.
Okay, thank you, sir. Moving on to the consent agenda. Any items to be removed? Motion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda has been approved. Moving on to bills for final passage.
Bill number 4230, an ordinance granting conditional use permit CUR 15-000001 for a boat and trailer storage to John Netsch.
Any questions or comments on Bill 4230? Seeing none?
An ordinance granting conditional use permit CUR 15-000001 for boat and trailer storage to John Netsch. Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Bill 4230 is passed. Moving on to Bill 4231.
Bill number 4231, an ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from A agricultural district, 5-acre minimum lot size, to RR single family residential district, 3-acre minimum lot size, as per application RZ 15-000003.
Any questions or comments on Bill 4231? Seeing none?
An ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from A agricultural district, 5-acre minimum lot size, to RR single family residential district, 3-acre minimum lot size, as per application RZ 15-000003. Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Bill 4231 is passed. Moving on to Bill 4232.
Bill number 4232, an ordinance amending the 2015 budget adopted by ordinance 14-109 to amend a position classification and pay grade within the St. Charles County Emergency Communication Systems and amending section 115.710 of the ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri OSCCMO concerning the Personnel Administration Plan.
Any questions or comments on Bill 4232? Seeing none?
An ordinance amending the 2015 budget adopted by ordinance 14-109 to amend a position, classification, and pay grade within the St. Charles County Emergency Communication Systems and amending section 115.710 of the ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri OSCCMO concerning the Personnel Administration Plan. Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Bill 4232 is passed. Move on to Bill 4233.
Bill number 4233, an ordinance amending the 2015 budget adopted by ordinance 14-109 by providing funds to accommodate increased concealed carry permit activity within the police department and providing funds to accommodate cost of an election in August 2015 within the Election Authority Fund.
Any questions or comments on Bill 4233? Seeing none?
An ordinance amending the 2015 budget adopted by ordinance 14-109 by providing funds to accommodate increased concealed carry permit activity within the police department and providing funds to accommodate cost of an election in August 2015 within the Election Authority Fund. Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes. Bill 4233 is passed. Move on to Bill 4234.
Bill number 4234, an ordinance waiving liquor license fees for certain concessions operations of the Parks and Recreation Department of the City of St. Charles for the period July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2016.
Any questions or comments? Yes, Joe?
I would just like to I have no problem with this, but if we're going to extend this, this waiver to City of St. Charles, I think we should to the other cities in the county as well. So if we're not doing that to the other cities in the county, I think in all due fairness, we should maybe offer them the same waiver.
So you can make a motion?
Well, I think it's just something that maybe we want to look at. I don't think the other folks are applying for the waiver, are they?
Nobody else has applied. I know that Harold's done a little drafting around that. Perhaps we could introduce that more generalized bill as a discrete bill and go ahead with this one at this point.
Yeah, that's fine. Just something for discussion down the road. I'm fine with this the way it is, though.
Just a question, did the other cities need a liquor license? I don't know, I don't think they sell beer in O'Fallon, Wentzville, St. Peter's Parks.
O'Fallon does.
I think perhaps Wentzville at one time had a liquor license in their community center, or whatever they called it up there.
Okay, I was just asking.
So just a discussion for down the road.
Sure.
Okay, so,
Mr. Chairman?
yes, sir.
One other point. This, at least with the city of St. Charles, it's reciprocal. They go ahead, if we need a license in the city of St. Charles, they don't charge us. So,
Okay.
For the family arena, they don't charge.
for the family arena, for instance, they don't charge us for liquor license. We don't charge them. So,
Okay.
Okay, is that it, Mike? Is that it? Okay, Donna? Carol?
An ordinance waiving liquor license fees for certain concession operations of the Parks and Recreation Department of the City of St. Charles for the period July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2016. Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Bill 4234 is passed. Move on to Bill 4235.
And this is for introduction tonight.
Yes.
Bill number 4235, request by Steve Elman, sponsored by Joe Brazel. An ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an agreement with municipalities for inspections and assessment of damage caused by flooding or other disasters.
Any questions or comments on Bill 4235?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
This is basically the bill you had to call a special meeting for.
2 years
Two
ago.
2 years ago.
Okay.
We're going to put it out there and hope we don't need it, but if you pass it next meeting, then it'll be there and we won't need to do a special meeting.
Okay, any questions, anybody? No? Okay, moving on. Oh, this is an emergency bill, is it?
No,
Oh, okay.
just for introduction.
Oh, okay, then that concludes bills for introduction. We do have a table bill. Somebody could make a motion to remove. Which bill was that?
4185.
Make a motion, somebody.
I'll make a motion to remove Bill 4185.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, 4185, and then we need a motion, is there a substitute bill?
There's not a substitute, it's just a change to the contract. There's been amendments to the contract, not the bill itself. And
Okay.
you all have that in front of you.
Does anybody have any questions for Chief Todd? Dave? They just gave us to us tonight, so I don't know if is it, come on up here, Dave.
Well, this is also about Sheriff Lewis, because right now he's the chair of the drug board.
Scott, come on up here then.
It may be helpful for you gentlemen, would it be if I went through them? Would that be? And save them both?
Then you can ask them questions.
The biggest change since you all last saw it is that Chief Finkelstein in St. Peter's noticed that the agreement still reflected the idea of a commander with an assistant commander. And in fact, since '06, it's really not been that way. There's been a commander who's in charge of the day-to-day, and then he has a sergeant over buys and a sergeant over meth. And so he asked that the agreement really reflect what was going on, and really to the extent that the board sits down and makes these decisions periodically based on how they best do drug investigations. So you'll see on page 2, under number 2, where it said assistant commander under the supervision of a commander, it now says overseen by a commander pursuant to a supervisory structure adopted by a majority of the board members having participating investigatory officers. So the jurisdictions that have investigating officers in there, if they need to split it into more than just buy and meth, they'll sit down and make that decision. So beyond that, most of the other changes were in there. That these are really just things that now reflect that we no longer have an assistant commander and haven't had for nearly 9 years. And then in fact, we have this structure where the commander, and that rotates between the jurisdictions that participate, is really working with the board to set up an acceptable structure. Is that a good explanation, gentlemen?
We've all worked on it. This is mainly to clean up details and just updating everything. So we've been working, it's been working fine.
Scott, you got any comments? Is there anything that you'd like to add onto this?
Explained it well.
Okay, any other questions or comments from anybody? Mike?
Logan?
Are you ready for me to call a vote? Okay. And Bill number 4185, an ordinance amending ordinance 02-057 by authorizing the execution of an amended contract for the establishment of a multi-jurisdictional drug task force to be known as the St. Charles County Regional Drug Task Force. Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember Klinghammer?
Yes.
Okay, Bill 4185 is passed. Moving on to, that concludes any other table bills? None? Okay, any comments or miscellaneous from anybody? Yes.
While those folks are there, I'd like to thank Chief Todd and Sheriff and County Law Enforcement and Prosecuting Attorney Lomar. For a week or so ago, you folks did a sweep and got 28 bad guys off the street. And every parent in this county owes you a debt of thank you for that, or thank you for that. So I want to thank you out. We're talking about Regional Drug Task Force anyway. 5 years ago, when I took this job, I asked Sheriff Neer, I said, what's one you think the biggest threat to this county is? And he had mentioned heroin, and growing up in this county, I thought, wow, that didn't comprehend. But he said it's in rich neighborhoods and poor neighborhoods, it's in the schools, and you guys are putting your lives on the line to keep that out of there, and I really appreciate that.
And on behalf of all the law enforcement and the federal agents also work with us, Sheriff Lewis and I, we thank you, gentlemen, for your support.
Wasn't there like 56 arrests or something?
51.
51? Yeah.
28 out of the county. In the same day, St. Charles City had an overdose, the same day we're doing this. So, I mean, we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg, but we're making it very clear amongst all of us, they're not welcome to deal with drugs in St. Charles County.
Good.
And I have to throw in one more partner. The Department of Corrections did a hell of a job that day because they had to turn on a dime over this, so.
Good job for everybody.
Has anybody, Scott, has anybody followed through with our, the work we did with Franklin County on the methamphetamine with the pseudoephedrine? Does anybody know, has there been enough time that followed through to see what the statistics are?
I'm pretty sure our meth lab numbers are going down.
Are they, and the sales are going up in St. Louis County with the pseudo? Okay, it'd be interesting if we, I don't know, how long has that been now? 2 years?
Oh,
Is it?
5.
No, when we did that, when
Work
we,
with Jason Grellner?
yeah, that was just 2 years ago, wasn't it? Oh, my God. All right, I was just curious. It'd be cool to see the numbers if it's really helped, but. Okay, anything else from anybody? Someone's motion?
Second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you
I
for
was
coming.
downstairs.